Hello, hello! GeoCamel here, and today I am smiling because I just took the world no moving record on one of my favorite maps. So for those of you who don't know, my home state is California, and that's also kind of my specialty if I had to say I had one in GeoGuessr. And so I really like this California map. And the other day, I sat down to play it for the first time since they updated the scoreboards, and I happened to nab the first place for no moving. Not an absolutely monster score, but pretty good. It definitely put a smile on my face. It's, not a lot of people play this map. There's only 21 people who are even on the scoreboard for no move, but it still made me happy. I got it relatively quick, probably only tried for like a half an hour, and the game time itself was pretty quick as well. So as you can see, I wasn't really trying to line up 5Ks or anything. So here's the summary of my world record game. Just to go into it really quickly, round one. We had here what to me was kind of an easy LA kind of area, but for some reason these lamps and just kind of the environment, because it was not that urban, it made me think of Pasadena. The funny thing is that I actually haven't been to Pasadena myself, I think since I was basically a baby. So for round two, I was actually pretty proud of it, even though it was technically a much worse guess. It was down here by Fortuna, and let's take a look at the round. I guessed up in Arcata. It just looked kind of generic of that area. Another thing that's hard to describe, and by the way, if you're interested in how I did so well in these rounds, I'm going to start releasing some California tips videos. I know it's really niche and probably no one really cares about getting great scores on California, but it might come in handy when you get those US rounds and you see the California meta. But yeah, basically just kind of reminded me of the Arcata area. Like the freeway exit too is kind of like in a style that you see around there, kind of looping around and under. So for the second round, I immediately got a Berkeley vibe off this. I was kind of warmed up, I'd been trying at this world record for, 25 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. And, I've driven around this area quite a lot. And it kind of reminded me of like this kind of like northeast Berkeley area where it even starts to approach, I think it's Albany is the next city over. I've driven through very similar roads, and it did indeed turn out to be a really accurate guess. Then for the fourth round, we were down in San Diego, and probably one of my weaker rounds of the game, aside from the Arcata round. This one also was probably the easiest. Let's take a look at it. San Diego has some really specific meta. This is I've done some work learning municipal California street signs, because many cities have completely unique street signs that cannot be found anywhere else in the world, and many more have more generic ones, but that still help you narrow it down. This happens to be just about the easiest one of all. San Diego rounds are kind of free as far as finding the city. I didn't feel like, trying to 5K and look for this cross street, so I just kind of went a little bit outside the town, which really could have gone better, because it was really up here. I suppose this area is still considered within the city limits of San Diego, but it's pretty far outside of the main area, but still probably the easiest round I got. And then our final round was the real kind of banger where I knew, okay, I had this world record on lock. Let's take a look. So another one where I totally could have 5K'd. Absolutely, if I wanted to take any more time. The world record took only 2 minutes and 21 seconds, so you can tell what type of game I was having. I wasn't really shooting to get a perfect game. I was really just looking to beat as quickly as I could the score that was already there. So absolutely 5Kable, because we got this name, but not a big deal. And how I knew we were in Lodi, just really easy. We just had Lodi right there. Kind of a lazy game when you think about it to be a world record game. In the future, I'll probably do another attempt to shatter my own record, which I am pretty excited about, because this was, I don't want to call it a lackluster game. It was definitely a great game, but I wasn't really fully in tryhard mode. Now my goal for the rest of this little short video is actually going to be to see if I can break another record, a very easy record since only 5 people have attempted it. No moving, panning, or zooming on this map. I think I might be able to do it in just a few attempts. If I don't, I'll just end the video. Let's see what we can get into. Let's see if we can discuss any interesting meta that we find. If there's anything that's any GeoCamel specialties here. Now California really, it's varying levels of difficulty. If you get the Central Valley, it can be really hard. If you get other areas, it can be really not that hard. At the moment, I'm kind of stalling, but that over there, looking really close, that kind of looks like an LA style street sign, LA area style street sign. I probably wouldn't have gone there otherwise, but this could be somewhere in the LA area, and it was indeed. It was more up here in like the North Hollywood, San Fernando area. Somewhere I visited a little while ago. This is immensely fortunate. I know exactly where this is. I've driven past this many, many times. This is on I-5. This is heading north, and that is the cinder cone that you find near Mount Shasta. So this is Mount Shasta itself, another extremely obvious landmark. If you're guessing in far north California and you see a mountain like that, you are guaranteed basically that it's going to be Mount Shasta. I mean, not guaranteed, but you know, very close. The cinder cone, if I recall, is somewhere around here. And this is one that's actually worth just kind of looking around and making sure we're doing it justice. So we're going a little bit northwest here. I think it's not all the way to Weed, that's for sure. Black Butte, maybe. I guess that's it. I always call it the cinder cone. So it looks like we're heading straight towards it from where we are. So it's got to be like down here, right? Because this is too much of an angle, so it's got to be something like this. So we're probably just coming out of Mount Shasta City. Really gorgeous area. If you guys don't know, Mount Shasta area is very beautiful. So I don't think it's going to be a 5K. Let me see. There is a turn in the road up there as it gets closer to Black Butte, which I guess would be this turn. Seems a little far, but makes sense. So we'll go a little bit further back, and that should be a nice score. Okay, it was actually more forward. Our first guess would have been better, but that's, you know, it's close to a 5K. Totally fine with that. Then we have China Lake Boulevard. That gives me a certain idea, although I don't think so. So let me see. No, I'm thinking of China Camp, which is in the North Bay. So this is much harder of a round, of course. Got real lucky on that last one. China Lake Boulevard and Inyokern Road. Inyokern almost makes me think, could it be Kern, California? Which I'm trying to remember where it is. I think it's somewhere around here. It's definitely possible. It looks like Central Valley. We've got mountains here to the kind of northwest and west. So that makes me think something more like around here, maybe. But yeah, like I said, when you get those rounds that look like they could be the valley, I think it's pretty hard. I was lucky to not really have much of a valley round. I had the Lodi round, but that had a name on it in the world record game. So let's see. Can't really remember where Kern is, and that's kind of a weak thing to go off of too, because it's Inyokern. Just kind of guessing, but I know it's kind of somewhere in this area-ish. There's Kerman. So honestly, I think it could be like something like around here or like that. It's not going to be I-5 because of the stoplights. You're never going to see that on I-5 as it's just way too major of a freeway. Yeah, I could probably get a better guess here. I'm just going to go. And it wasn't awful, but you know, far enough that we got almost no points. So that's definitely going to hurt our chance of breaking this NMPZ record. But yeah, it's not near Kern, so I have gotten some great guesses just off of, oh, that road name is like the name of the county or something like that. And I know a fair amount of California counties. Now this looks like it might be something a little closer to home. It can be deceptive though. But I would say this is like like some edge of the valley pretty far north. I could even see it being like Oroville area. I try not to like make it a bias. For those of you who don't know, I live in Chico up here, and sometimes I see these rounds and I go, oh, that looks so familiar, and I just click around here, but really it's further south in the valley or something like that. So I don't want to ruin something like that. Do we have any clues from rocks? I mean, the rocks are kind of adding up for it being north. It could even be north of Chico. It could actually be more like Red Bluff area. I'm just gonna go around there. And yeah, I would say that paid off pretty well. Much closer to Redding, honestly, than Red Bluff, but you know, I'll take it. It is kind of the edge of the valley, north, so, you know, it's a good region guess. And then, almost tried to, like, zoom in there. Manchester Pacific Gateway. Well, we're not in Manchester, I'll tell you that much. The premier, blah, 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 blah. Urban round like this, a little bit sketchy. Poles like this I've never seen before, so it makes me... Obviously, they're unique to this, probably unique to this street, but it definitely makes me want to go more like LA or somewhere that I'm less familiar with rather than the Bay Area, where I spend a lot of my time. Yeah, kind of tough, because this so easily could be Bay Area, so easily. Very generic round. Yeah, it's making me a little anxious. It's like, it feels like it could be somewhere tucked away in Oakland or something like that, but I think I just go LA. Just, first of all, there's just a great chance that anything is LA when you see it. On this map, there's just so much in LA County. I mean, it's just a massive populated urban zone. So I think we're hedging a little bit with the numbers here, and also with this sort of thing just being so unfamiliar. But you know, this could easily be the Bay Area. Let's see. Oh, and it was San Diego. So yeah, not much that could be done, but still a little bit frustrating there. Don't think we got the world record. Yeah, it was like 17. So let's give it, you know, maybe one or two more tries. Washington Avenue Arts Center. Doesn't really help too much. Again, wish we had a street sign, but where do we think this could be? You know, even though it looks like it could be north, I think we go south again. Anything that kind of precludes that. I think, you know, screw it, we go San Diego, and it was San Diego area's Escondido, which is, you know, a couple cities over. That's okay. This reminds me of a couple regions. It could be like, kind of like this sort of thing, like it's to the side of a valley, but it's before you start getting up into real mountains, and that could, you know, it could be on the west too. I could easily see this being west. Let's see. Yeah, that sign's not going to tell me anything. Yeah, I can easily see this being west or east in kind of like central northern California. Could be out like on the way to Clear Lake. Yeah, maybe let's do that. And not too bad. This is actually a road I've been really curious to try taking at some point. Because this area, this Mendocino National Forest, is actually some of the most untouched kind of natural land that we really have left in this state. There, if you zoom out, you can see like we got like basically no highways going through. The only one is this very small one right here, 162. It's just always fascinated me. I just want to know what it's like. A completely random aside. This Roseville, nice. I was gonna say gives me Sacramento vibes, and there is certainly a reason. So it's called. This is the Aquatics Complex, and that is probably something we could find. I don't know if I feel like it though. That's the thing, man. I run out of patience, especially if I'm not like going for a really difficult record or something. Yeah, and if this was like a duel round or something like that too, I would just send instantly. So I think we just send, and yeah, not really anything to complain about there. This is interesting. Kind of reminds me of some areas of Shasta Trinity National Forest up here, but it's a little bit bald. It could be even further north. It could be like up in one of these areas. Kind of a little rough. Let's see, it's going north-south. Maybe we go like in one of these areas, and not too bad. It was actually, I didn't recognize it because it wasn't the 5, but I've driven this stretch so many times of the 5. It was this kind of adjacent freeway. Too bad, because yeah, usually when I get rounds on the 5, it definitely the whole northern half of the state. It's good news for me. This is tough. This is for sure tough. Couple things I think of. I think of like maybe up here, kind of like in between Santa Rosa and the Bay. But another thing that I think of is actually this area too, kind of like around Big Basin. I think I might even do that because I got a similar round the other day and it happened to be Big Basin area. And actually in this case it was Big Sur, which is south of Monterey. So yeah, again, like it's not like a terrible game for NMPZ, honestly, but it's not the world record. So we're gonna go one more time, one more good attempt. Yeah, we're gonna restart. You know, it's not like a god awful read, but we're gonna restart. I think at this point we don't want to waste any time. That is good enough to go ahead and start. Decorators Depot. Okay, so we've got a brown sign. I'm just trying to rack my head about pretty far Southern California, brown sign. Highway 111, we can always look for that. I think it's gonna be pretty small. But it feels like, oh, there it is. Okay, so there's 111. So we're not gonna be that far off. We might be near like Coachella, maybe in between like Palm Desert, Palm Springs, and like Salton Sea. Although actually looking at the angle's kind of hard to tell. We're looking northeast, so that means that this, if it's going totally perpendicular, it's more like northwest, which is the angle that we're getting here. It's probably more like in a town, so I'll go Coachella, and actually it was back over where it bends back to get around the same angle in what is this, Rancho Mirage. Nice name. But yeah, good round. We're happy with that. 14 miles away. This is a little tough. I'd probably go Central California, maybe even like Atascadero. Oh, dude, that was a good guess. I was thinking Atascadero, Paso Robles, I guess in between, and it is literally in between the two cities. That, we're happy with that. We might be looking at a world record here as long as I don't absolutely choke. I really wish I could read that. This kind of gives me like a not far outside of Sacramento vibe. Yeah, just like tons of different types of oak trees, and from what we can see, this is when it would really be good to be able to turn around, but from what we can see, it looks pretty flat, so I think that's a pretty good sign for Sacramento. Do something like that. And it was Redding. That's definitely disappointing. So basically, if we don't do great on this round, it's no world record. Like, we got to do absolutely fantastic. Man, it just feels like I'm right on the precipice. Let's do one more. I am actually having a lot of fun here. This one, I gotta say, this reminds me of like, I don't know, maybe it's like this area. I was actually north. I shouldn't have kept moving south, but you know, that was an okay region guess, okay read. Could this be like Redding area? I think it would be like Redding area. Let's go up there. Yep. I'm on it, man. I'm on it. Oh, and this one, It's got a municipal street sign, but it's too small to kind of tell. It's got a logo to the left, but many of them have that. I'm also a little rusty on my own meta because I was kind of I started developing that maybe like, 2 or 3 months ago, started looking into the municipal street signs and kind of stopped doing it for a while. I would say, so we got, okay, hills here are gonna matter. We got hills north. So I could see it being like an up here type of thing. I don't know. I was actually Camarillo. I mean, it's like barely acceptable type of guess. Carnelian Court. This also looks pretty southern, if you ask me. With the street signs, I guess it's not gonna be San Diego proper. It could be San Diego area for sure. Oh, and that was actually a San Jose. I should have known, because that generic type of street sign is most common in San Jose, probably followed by Sacramento. Yeah, so that kind of ruins the NMPZ record. And then this one, we just got like a real rough kind of like, oh man, this could be anywhere. Yeah, it's down in Stockton. Yeah, those Central Valley rounds are a little rough, man. Especially when you're lacking mountains. That one did have some mountains though, so no excuses. This feels like, honestly, this feels like this. And yeah, pretty good. This one's pretty generic. Just on instinct, I'm gonna go like Fairfield, but okay, that works. Antioch, like it was across the Sacramento River. And then we got another one of these fucking rounds, Central Valley rounds. It's definitely further south, maybe even like Modesto, Turlock area. That's, that feels okay, but it was actually south of Fresno. Yeah, and this is gonna be the final round. We're not gonna get the world record, but you know what? We got pretty close. We're probably second place or third, something like that, out of the 5 people that have tried. Let's see. And this one, this is not gonna be a good guess. I would say it kind of reminds me of like this, but it's probably way off. Yeah, it was actually Fort Bragg, somewhere that I really need to do myself a favor and visit. But you know what? That was a fun little episode. Honestly, it was mostly just toot my own horn getting the no move record. It's definitely not the craziest record to get, but I am still proud of myself. But yeah, let me know if you guys are interested. Honestly, probably if you're not interested, I'm still going to be releasing some California tips videos, just some stuff on foliage, maybe geology, and definitely eventually a video on those municipal street signs. Super useful, especially if you're playing a moving game and you get California. Say you're even playing a ACW or world map, depending on what your division is on duels. If you get a California and you recognize those street signs, even though it's a rarity, you can get yourself a nice 4.8, 4.9k and just blow the other person away. It has happened to me before. So I think it's pretty worth it. Anyways, thank you guys for sticking to the end of the video, and I'll see you guys next time.